Hi, today we will install Slackware version 15 from scratch on a physical machine. I will not bother you with how to create the USB key, you just need one with the ISO, which you can find below the video in the description. Press enter at the first boot screen, it will boot you in a live environment. If you want a different mapping than the US, just press 1, otherwise you can press enter again. You log in as root, no password. You can check your disks with LSBLK. As you can see, we have the NVMe here. We are using CF disk with /dev NVMe to create the new partitions. If it's asking you about GPT or any other types, GPT is a good choice, especially if your disk is bigger. In this case it didn't ask us, but it probably will happen. So first we create an EFI partition because we want to use UEFI. It's 100 meg. You need to change the type, and the type is on top with the EFI system. Next, create the swap partition. You just move on the free space and press new. The swap is usually the same size as the memory of your machine. At least that's what I like. I like creating swap as the second partition because for me it's a better flow. Change the type to Linux swap. And then create a new one in the free space, which will be the main Linux partition. If you want to have more partitions like /home, /var, /usr, /opt or anything, this is the place to do it. I will just go with one partition and one swap. And once we are done, we have to use the command write on the bottom. And we have to save everything. Use the whole word, yes. Just the Y is not enough. So once you are done, you can quit. You can check your partitions again with LSBLK. You see we have all the three there. And then enter setup with the command setup. You have another chance to change the key map. It's up to you. I won't touch it. Enable swap. If you're paranoid, you can do a disk check, but do the select target partition, format it the way you want. I like XFS, but this time I go with X4, no specific reason. Deinstall every of these partitions to the /etc/fstop file as well, so they will be used at next boot. Select the install media. It's USB for us. Leave the package selection on full. It is the recommendation. While I agree that having a minimal system to start with and then install only what you need later is a good practice, in Slackware it may be a little bit cumbersome, so especially if later you want some support from the community, it's easier to get help when a full setup was done. I was using the thirst for the prompting mode, so it will show each package install in one line, and then we will wait. You can pause the video and once you reach the end of this installation, continue. I will jump to that point and I will continue from there. We are at the end of the package installation, so we can continue with the system configuration. I will not create a USB boot disk now. While it's very useful and it doesn't hurt if the boot is messed up, I will skip for now. I will skip the installation of Lilo or eLilo. eLilo is for EFI, so if you don't see it, it doesn't matter. Select your mouse type and we set up our network. I mean, we just add the host name and then add the domain name. I will select DHCP-v4. If you want to set up a static IP with VLAN, feel free. I think DHCP is good enough for me now. The default services are good. Skip the custom screen fonts, it's unnecessary. Set up your time zone, and then you can set up the rest. Then we will choose our default editor, which is Vim for me, and KDE as the desktop environment. And you have to set the root password now. And once we are done with this, in theory we are done with the installation, but do not reboot yet. We want to exit and exit to shell, because we want to install GRUB now. We have to chroot into the /mnt partition. That's where our system is installed. And after that we need to read the profile with source, so the root profile is completely loaded. Once it's loaded, we need to install GRUB first to the EFI partition, and then we will need to create the config for GRUB. And that is something which you really need to remember, because once you install everything and upgrade your system, you need to tell GRUB to update, especially if your kernel is updated. You need to refresh it and add it to the EFI menu. Once you are done with the GRUB configuration, you can exit the shell. Clean up the mounts if you want. And then reboot. And here we go. We are booting in a newly installed system. The first thing we will have to do is to create a new user, because we only have root yet. We're logging in as root because we only have that user yet. I'm creating an admin group, and we will create the admin user, which is a member of the users, a wheel, and the admin group. We're adding the password to the user. What comes now is a bit of an optional part. It's not recommended to add a sudo without the need to use passwords, but in this scenario I will go for it. I just don't want to enter passwords all the time when running elevated commands. So the way it's done here, I just create a new file in /etc/sudoers.d, But if you want a regular password protected sudo, just edit the /etc/sudo file with vsudo and uncomment the line where you see the word wheel. As you remember, we added the user to the wheel group, and in the sudo words the wheel is already a predefined value, but it's commented. While we are here, let's update the system since the ERS is a little bit older. We have to edit the mirrors file and uncomment the mirror which is closest to you. First we have to run an update of the Slack pkg, which will just grab the list of the latest packages. It will be quick. Once it's done, we will have to install the new packages. There will be one at this point, and you need to install it because it may break dependencies if you don't. It's always useful to follow this flow, that first the update, then the install new, and then upgrade all. So update is done. We run the new package, install new to become. As you can see, there's a new package. We need to install this one. It was fast. And now we do the upgrade all. This will not be fast. It will take a little while. So we will do the same as we did earlier. You may pause the video here. I will jump to the next phase and we'll continue with you from there. As we reach the end of the package installation, you can see that your kernel image is updated. And Lilo does not appear to be there. What a surprise. What we need to do, you press enter here, and after that you press O to overwrite all the old files with new ones, because it's a new installation, we don't really care. And now what we have to do is let GRUB know that we have a new kernel. It's easy. You will run the same command you used for the last time for GRUB. It's the mkconfig. Once the group configuration is done, the only thing left is to change the run level. We want to move from multi-user text to multi-user graphical interface. And the way we can do it is that we edit the /etc/init tab file, and in the init tab file you can find the default run levels. The default level, init default, is 3, and that means that you can it's a multi-user default command line. But number 4 is when it starts the graphical interface. Once the reboot is done, we will be in our new, freshly installed Slackware, and you can start using it. This video was only about the installation. I'm not going into details on how to customize it further and make it your daily distribution. I recommend to use it for a long time. It's pretty good. But this video was only about the installation. Thank you for following. See you next time.